Not sure why my house is green, but you're a good person. You're a good person because if you click this video, typically, the kind of videos that I make, if you're new, you can check that out if you want, but it's gonna have some sort of alignment with the sort of positive views on life, hope core, or whatever kind of label you attach with it, right? And if that's the case, and even if it's not the case, chances are you're a good person. And I say that because a lot of times we think we're not doing enough. We feel like we're not enough, and we kind of let life dictate how we feel. But that's not the case, because we dictate how we feel. We are the ones living life, we're not the ones where life is living us. And that sounds like mumbo jumbo, but sometimes you need a little bit of mumbo jumbo to make things clear. And the fact that even having videos like this on your feed, maybe, this is just a theory that I just feel like makes sense, but you probably look at content that's pretty similar to this, therefore it kind of comes about. And so if you're watching stuff that's really, trying to promote a message of, love, unity, peace, and all that good stuff, then yeah, you're either working towards becoming that, or that state of being, or you are that. So hats off to you, whether or not you're going through some sort of struggle, whether or not you're going through some sort of trials or tribulations, you're a good person. And a lot of people need to hear that more often, because it's tricky to kind of feel like that regularly, which is kind of messed up, because we kind of live in a world where we don't really promote the idea of feeling good about ourselves. And the only way that we kind of feel good about ourselves is by engaging with the external environment, which is stuff like maybe buying nice things or eating nice things, or stuff that's like kind of outside the self, that's not really you inside of yourself, if that makes any sense. And it's really important to realize that you're good enough, and the sort of compounding effect that it has on your psyche and your mind is great, man. You feel good about yourself, you live every day with that extra boost in self-esteem, confidence. You carry yourself differently. And a lot of people, actually I'll make a video on this soon, but basically if you look at like an example of people like narcissists, right, they tend to do well on a material level in society. It's because they feel good about themselves. They feel like they are good and that they are worthy of getting such success. And you can learn a thing or two from them, obviously not in the way that they do portray themselves completely, but the idea of feeling good is still there. And I'm not telling anyone to be like that, obviously not. We want to do it in a more holistic manner that's healthy for us and the world. But the idea of feeling good about yourself is really important. And not even feeling good about yourself, but also kind of doing, like, following suit of the actions that kind of follow along with it. But it's crazy. I just find it even more crazier that even videos like this kind of have to be made, because we don't seem to realize that enough. Mainly because there's just a lack of, I guess, education behind it, which kind of sucks. I do hope the school system and just more awareness kind of comes about in terms of how we can sort of treat ourselves better and feel good about ourselves more often. Because it's just a right that should just be given to us all, right? It's just something that should really be normal. And then when we compound on this, we can create a much better society, because everyone feels good, everyone wants to do good for others, and it's just a much more kind of peaceful place, man. But it would also be kind of boring, so I can see why it's there. The lessons that kind of come about in terms of feeling both sides of the coin, again, feeling kind of down in the dumps, which your emotions are going to basically play a really big toll on you. But you can learn from that. You can learn from the reason of why you feel like that. Because if you didn't feel kind of bad in a day, you wouldn't know what it's for. And then that means you'd keep living a pretty suckish life where you're not satisfied. So, and I have a video way back on the channel talking about how emotions are really, really important, if you want to check that out. I don't know how to link videos to other videos, so I guess just type in emotions on a channel or something like that, and you'd find it. But yeah, your emotion teaches, man. It teaches a lot in terms of what you need to do, and it's such a great awareness into your body that we really ignore a lot of the times. Because say for example we don't feel good and we feel really bad. Why is that? Where does the emotion come from, and where does the thought process come from? And is it even real? Because when you take everything in hindsight and in perspective, things are just pretty normal. And not only pretty normal, but pretty manageable, pretty kind of dealable with, right? But that's a whole nother topic. Feeling good about yourself is gonna come ultimately from you. But sometimes we need to hear it. Sometimes we need media to hear it. Sometimes we need, music to hear it sometimes. Although music nowadays is definitely not like a lot more positive than what it used to be. At least in some industries. Obviously you're gonna get your industries where it's more promoted, but it's not as popular as, the kind of music that doesn't really make you think or make you sort of... So, this is what I suggest. You don't have to. But if you do struggle with feeling good on a regular basis, try to watch as much stuff as you can, generally, in terms of promoting a positive message. Whatever channels on YouTube can provide that, if you could just make that kind of switch from maybe even just evaluating the subscriptions you might have, you might just realize that a lot of what you subscribe to is just pretty bogus. And it's not doing you any good. And sometimes you need entertainment like that, that mindless engagement, entertainment, because, obviously you're going to be mindless from time to time, but generally you want to be promoting like at least 80 to 90% of your sort of feed to be positive, and you'll notice profound effects on what it could do for you. Not only that, but also the kind of environment around you, because again, your external environment is going to play a big part in terms of how you feel, because we've kind of socialized ourselves to expect things in the world. So it's a lot easier to say, oh, you know what, just feel good about yourself, right? Like the title says, but it's hard to do, because again, we put so much emphasis on kind of winding ourselves in this sort of fishing rod of life, and what we're constantly chasing, that we never feel good enough, and we fall for it all the time, and we've been in this for quite a while. So try to unwind yourself from the bait and try to focus on yourself in terms of your external environment. And the way to do this is typically through kind of brainwashing yourself, number one, with good stuff. Number two, surrounding yourself with more positive people. Sometimes this might mean that you have to, just like here, get rid of the weeds and stuff like that. And at other times, it could mean something as this quick, simple habit changes, such as reading. I'll actually give you a little tip if you don't like to read or you haven't read. Find a topic that interests you, and it doesn't have to be non-fiction, it could be fiction as well. If you're into anime, I personally would consider manga reading. It's better than looking at a screen, or, you probably will be watching it on a screen, but it's better than, watching short form content. So, yeah, stick to that, or even anime episodes, or any kind of TV shows that kind of makes you feel good about yourself. Because it's really, really important to feel good about yourself, and it's really important how we kind of give ourselves away to a lot of the world every single day. Again, because emotions are they're not really essentially guaranteed and stable. They can change from time to time. So it's really important to kind of be mindful in terms of what you're surrounding yourself with as well. Because even if you think about the last time you felt good about yourself, it's probably because of something external. So food for thought, if you're gonna kind of change your habits based on that. So yeah, summary, just surround yourself with good things. If you can, take the extra step and start to realize that you are enough by yourself. Figure that out. Set yourself an adventure, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun when you start to learn to kind of love yourself a little bit more, and you start to explore different parts of you and your mind. A lot of people tend to put a really bad label on it and call it boring and stuff like that. It's actually pretty fun, because it's like you're your own friend and you get to take care of yourself. And no one can take that away from you, man. So, more power to the people, innit? Anyway, I'm gonna go, because I'm pretty tired now. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace and blessings to you all.